what should the Orisa be doing in this comp? Taking space, forcing fortify the enemy Orisa, deciding what tempo the team's playing at, and making sure you force cooldowns with your pull or set up kills. The person deciding the tempo of the game is basically the Orisa. I believe that in this meta, both teams should have like priorities, right? And like especially with how Orisa Sigma works, oftentimes the Sigma is gonna want to be on an off angle, taking space when there's no direct thread onto your Orisa, right? So there's no direct thread right now. QOQ and Bernard both take an off angle. But it's surprising that so many people go with the off angle. The Brig, the Echo, and the Sigma take the off angle. The Baptiste and the Ashe go main with the Orisa. But everybody's over here. Like, why? If you can get this angle right here, shoot the people in White Room, that's way stronger than what they're doing right now. Just see, this is so stupid. And this is why Orisa's so good. But look at how far this pool goes. Look at that. Right, it's here. And the pool goes all the way to here. That has to be like a 10-meter range right here. But you see how instead of just marching up with this pick, Spitfire is like slowly taking space. Because this is such an open area that if they would just march in right here, they would probably die. Or like have enough cooldowns forced out that the spark and clutch. So they're going more of like the flank way, right? Even though there might be a chance Godsby comes back in like a reasonable time, it's better to choke out your opponent than to go really hard. And this is like a difference between spam meta and like a rush meta where you play Reinhardt. Because rush meta, when you play Reinhardt, you get a pick, you just go. But here you still see how conservative JMac plays. And what you'll notice a lot too, is that the first pull in a fight goes on to tanks to force cooldown and try and get picks. But then the pulls after that, they'll try and catch out DPS, right? So the Ashe can headshot the pulled DPS. If the Sigma and the Orisa are split, they'll both play like passive and they'll both push in at the same time, like walk up, right? And then if there's more pressure on one side, that side will back up and the other side will push in. But if the Orisa and the Sigma are stacked, they will play much more aggressive because they have more shield and more pressure. And then if you have an advantage, you can really push like QOQ is doing right now. Let's analyze how much of a Chad Bob is. I don't know, looks pretty chatty to me. He has a mini thing on, mini hat on. He has like a fur coat, London Spitfire color this time. And he has guns coming out of his arm, so it must be true. He's kind of a Chad. And the reason I feel so many teams are playing Brig is because the Brig pockets the flanker pick, right? The Brig enables the Glass Cannon Echo to somehow be like a massive tank. Like this is why they removed overhealing, right? And this is not an Overwatch League yet. But overhealing as a mechanic is just stupid because it turns the most Glass Cannon character in Echo, right? She's even been nerfed to her E range is lower, into a really tanky character because she has armor. And armor is better than health. And she still does a shit ton of damage. So like the reason why you'd normally see Zenbap in like a spam mirror, right? Before you saw Zenbap in a spam mirror, is just because you see Brig now because they can pocket a flanker pick like Tracer or Echo so well. And they also shut down enemy flanker picks. If Brig can't overheal, are we back to high HP DPS? That's a good question, right? And I think if Brig couldn't overheal in this situation, you would go back to Ashe May, for example, in this situation, right? On this map. So I definitely think if Brig can't overheal, you'd see a lot more non-squishy DPS. And this is why I think that Brig is just so good. Like you can now play the Ashe Tracer on the side of the Spitfire. I feel like you're just so free as Tracer against the complex Spark here. Brig here isn't as good as the Brig on the Spitfire though, I feel. Because the Brig on the Spitfire has a constant armor pack target, right? Meanwhile, on Spark, no constant armor pack target. So it's going to be harder to get the value out of the Brig here. Oh, this is my pet peeve right here, chat. Oh, this is such a big pet peeve of mine. When the BAP ults for himself only. Every time I see this, the BAP just ults right in front of him. And he's like, my team can use this, chat. But if you just stack up like here with your Orisa and your Sigma, and then you pull people here, and then you bap ult here, you'll do so much more. Like, you'll force cooldowns and get shields. What's the BAP gonna do on his own? Right? Like, this is not good unless you're like in a position where you can kill everyone. But that's obviously not this, right? You stack up, you say 3, 2, 1 pulling, plus BAP ult in front of the whole team. Sometimes it's fine. I'll say it's not always bad, right? Like, sometimes you want to double your healing, and you're in a position where you can shoot the enemy team really easily as Baptiste, and it's really good. But oftentimes, especially since the meta's evolved, you want to use BAP ult as a team ability. Especially with how Sigma AoE hits work. If enemy teams hides, the BAP ult and plus pull, plus Sigma AoE shots will still do so much. Like, doubling Sigma AoE hits is like insane. I think you see this more and more where teams hold really close to a choke. And it's pretty smart, right? Because you're playing the Brig character. So you want to hold close to make sure that you get the Inspire passive up. I feel like you want maybe Godsby on this side though. Because the enemy team is always going to rotate through here. So if he's over here, he has an easier dynamite right here, right? And also easier to get like top of this or this. Oh, and what? Godsby just randomly dies? See, that's what I'm saying. If he was over here, that would have never happened. Yeah, but if you place Ashe there, you let the enemy team have a better chance for rotating right stairs. You want them to rotate right stairs, though. Like, that's a good rotation for you. If they decide to rotate right stairs, like here, they have to walk on the point where there's no cover, right? Like, and you get the position on point with your shield. But I think this position, it's a lot easier for the attacking side because they get to take this high ground, and this high ground's mega OP, right? But if you're walking up these stairs on the left side, you kind of want this because this high ground isn't very good, and then they have to go all the way over here and there's no cover here, right? This corner is really strong. It's like the thing. So if they rotate left side, that's pretty good for the defensive side. Obviously, you'd want to farm them here. But I feel like them getting this high ground is much worse for you than them getting this. This is interesting because they're basically saying, hey, you can get this high ground for free, right? And this high ground's really OP because you stand up here, you shoot down on the people on point, and they have to like use this cover. And it's awkward for them to push back in once you rotate your second shield and you move in. This is amplified by the fact that they don't have an echo, so they have less shield damage too. Oh no, now Bernard's gonna get caught out. He backed up too late. He's in the middle of the enemy team. How is he still alive? Wait, he's still alive. What? He lives. This is a war crime. I am angry. So he's getting focused. The echo turns into Sigma. Bernard even misses his wall completely. He gets stunned. He's on 100 HP. He gets stunned again. He's on 100 HP. Who's not shooting this man? Hello, people in main? There's a Sigma there. They're not shooting him. This is not good comms. They're still not shooting him. They should all be shooting Bernard. And now they're all shooting him, but it's too late. Good. And then they also missed the Sigma from Architect. There's just no way he got away with that.